A dangerous hurricane is developing rapidly. Hi, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Justus with all eyes on Beryl and two other areas we're watching that could form into named tropical systems. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please like this video and comment and let me know where you're watching from. It helps me give you an accurate forecast. I'm a Chief Meteorologist with 20 years of experience on television. My passion is for all things weather, and my goal is to keep you and your family safe. So let's get right to it and track what's happening right now in the tropics. You've got what looks like a buzzsaw. This is a very typical system for what I would track in August, and to be honest with you, it could be one of the earliest hurricanes we've had on record. Our typical first hurricane isn't until August 11th, not to mention if somehow this were to get into a major hurricane status, that would just be unheard of. That typically doesn't occur until the middle part of September. Wow, folks, this thing's dangerous. Beryl is a monster, and it is moving toward the west. We look at a lot of things in this, and when you look at the water vapor, there's just not a lot in its path to really stop it. Sure, there's some Saharan dust coming off the coast of Africa, but when you get a system that's already strong, the Saharan dust just kind of blows around it. The hurricane at that point is stronger than the influence from the Saharan dust, and really for Saharan dust to help, you would need that dust to be there at its infancy, basically squash the fire before it even forms, if that makes sense. Unfortunately, as I look closer at this again, I'm going to pause it here for you on some of the last frames that we get from our satellite. My goodness, this thing is strong. You see the feathered look, kind of looks like a buzzsaw right here. That tells me the storm is breathing, it's venting. You've got some very strong and tall thunderstorms right here in the center, which wouldn't surprise me if an eye wall begins to form soon. So you've got a lot of circulation around that center, and it looks like this thing's really getting attacked together. The official forecast from the National Hurricane Center late tonight, as I'm taping here, calls for this to inch up closer to a Cat 2, verging on a Cat 3. We're going to need to watch this closely, okay? Here's a great visual from Tomerberg's website. I mean, it is absolutely just a really, really effective map. We're really honing in on here the Windward Islands being impacted by this the most. And I need to continue to stress this for you. Flooding and the surf generated from this is going to be really, really significant in these areas. So flooding will be a concern, but also the winds, folks, are going to be power outage worthy, and it looks like Barbados is going to take a really direct hit with this, especially as we get toward the time frame of Sunday night, Monday, okay? That's when things start to go downhill. All right, so please in the comment section let me know where you're watching from. It really does help me. I go back and look at this, and I'll do my best to write each one of you back. As we move forward here is Sunday, Monday's time frame. This is now spilling into the Caribbean. It looks like Barbados, over towards St. Vincent, St. Lucia, into Grenada. We need to watch that for you very closely, okay? So it's these areas that look to take a direct hit. I also like to talk about in situations like this when I'm talking about tornado threats, snow threats back where I'm from. You know, it doesn't look to be as big of a threat up toward the northern islands, Leeward Islands, okay? So St. Kitts, St. Martin, we're not as concerned that you will take a direct hit. Now, I want you to be on guard. I want you to be watching this, but right now it looks like the majority of this impact is going to go to the west. Now, once it's in the Caribbean, it looks like it really does stay strong. The stronger it is, the more northern I think it's going to go. Wester tracks usually result from weaker storms. So weaker goes west is the old saying. So that would mean Jamaica could be more impacted by a Cat 1, Cat 2. But if it stays stronger, like this green deterministic GFS model is showing, it would go over the mountains of Hispaniola for you folks in the DR and Haiti, and then it would track toward the west here toward Cuba. Kind of dislocated, weaker, but there's a pretty big spread once you get to Friday, Thursday, July 4th, and then into Friday as it's south of Cuba, likely heading towards Central America, where it will still have some flooding rains with it for the Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico, but also as far south as Belize, Honduras, you could have some flooding rain. So that's the latest tracks right now when you look at the European, the GFS, and kind of their ensembles right there. Let's look at the operational runs, and my goodness, I mean, it's not often you have this great of an agreement from the European, the GFS ensembles, the UK, and then the Canadian. I mean, they're in lockstep right here, folks, with a landfall somewhere between St. Lucia and Grenada, and then moving west. So you need to prepare for the worst of it right now. And St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then St. Lucia, okay? Barbados, you're right there in this as well. Yeah, that northeastern quadrant is going to be impacted the most with this, and that looks to be over St. Lucia. Martinique, you're pretty close to it as well. And then it goes very close to Jamaica. So you folks watching in Jamaica right now, you need to be dialed in on this. My friends in Trinidad and Tobago, sure, we're dialed in. We're watching it right. You need to be dialed in on this. Our models are consistent here. Let's look at another way of looking at that. There's really no deviation until it gets into the Caribbean here. So, again, Barbados, can't stress it enough, St. Lucia, and then especially St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right? Grenada, you're right there in it as well. Trinidad and Tobago, it's just north of you. Just north of you. But the worst impacts would be well north of you. All right? And then it gets over here toward Jamaica. Pretty big spread here. So, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, anybody watching there, please let me know. Cuba, same story. We're watching this for you in the Caribbean. And the reason why we're so concerned about it is many of our models show a strong hurricane. That's why the National Hurricane Center has gone with a strong Category 2 hurricane with this. But I got to tell you, there are 3 models here that venture this into Cat 3 land. That would be really unusual to get a major hurricane this early. But the water temperatures dictate that we're here in the heart of hurricane season, that we're right here in August-type waters, all right? Let's look at it another way. This is the GFS only. You're looking at the GFS American model only. The red would be the deterministic run, and I showed you this yesterday, okay? And it helps me dictate a forecast. What's the trend looking like? The trend for the deterministic has gone north, and I got to tell you that's because it's showing a stronger system. Stronger goes north, weaker goes west. So the GFS ensemble, the average of them are in the black line. This one model run here in the red can sometimes be the trend maker. And if not, if you don't see these ensembles catch up with it, then it's kind of a renegade. You kind of want to go with an average here. So you see they're in lockstep. Very high density of confidence in the forecast here for Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and then into the Caribbean. It's where you get here towards the Dominican Republic and Haiti that it would need to be in question. Some wind shear starts to develop here too. So does Jamaica take a direct hit, or does it go up more toward Haiti and the Dominican Republic? We don't know yet, but we will keep you posted. It looks like it continues to go west. Yes, some of these ensembles from the GFS spill it into the Gulf. The GFS particular does, but it's also pretty torn apart at that point. It's gone over some high mountains of Hispaniola and would be weaker by them. If you're looking for time frames here, this would be Sunday, Monday, June 30th into July 1st. This would be sometime the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And then here we are, the 6th and 7th, going into next weekend. 5th, 6th, and 7th here. Okay? Let's look at the ships model. Yesterday was showing Cat 3. It has backed off into Cat 2 land. And I don't want you to let that say, hey, oh, it's only Cat 2 now. I mean, guys, this is a strong hurricane. You know, I do not like height by any means, but we're talking 100 and 110 mile per hour winds for you folks in the Caribbean islands right here. Not to mention what this will do wave height wise. You can have a tropical storm that just creates extremely dangerous surf and flooding. And I want to show you these wave heights because they're dangerous. I mean, here for you folks in the Caribbean islands, I mean, we're talking about wave heights from your scale here. I mean, this is unheard of. This is we're talking 20, 25-foot swells here. I mean, that is some big-time waves here for the Leeward Islands. I need you to take that seriously, and the time frame on this for our stamp here is Monday, July 1st. All right, here we are with this thing really rocking and rolling, creating some surf that's upwards of 20 to 25 feet here. up toward Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and notice how it weakens because it's over those high mountains. But the surf with it stays the same. And I want to also talk about, I'll get to this, but a second system looks to be coming through. Weaker, albeit, but hitting an area that's 2 days recovered from a large hurricane could bring in some more flooding rains for you. And this GFS model wants to blow it up once it gets back into the Caribbean here and wants to have another tropical storm or hurricane come at you. So back-to-back storms are unfortunately looking possible here. The second one would hit July 3rd, while Beryl would be here sometime on Monday, July 1st. So 1, 2 systems, and then it moves toward the west. So that's the way it's shaping up now. Let's look at the different scenarios from the European model. It shows great consistency with all of its 51 runs. They're all pretty much in lockstep, all those cluster of lows right there. That indicates to me a forecast that's pretty solid. Okay, it's minding its business. It knows what it wants to do here. Going toward the Windward Islands, spilling in the Caribbean, then up through the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and then you get your spread. But a lot of them either weaken or stay to the west toward Central America. So you folks in Belize, Honduras, Nicaragua, we're watching it. We're watching it for you. And then behind that's that other weaker system, probably a tropical storm, maybe a low-end Cat 1. I'll have to watch that for you. So let's look at what the latest model, the European, this one just finished. It's showing a Cat 1, Cat 2, barreling through here, Windward Islands. This would be same timing, Monday afternoon. Peak impacts spilling into the Caribbean. They're Tuesday, July 2nd. And let's go to the morning run, which will give us a little better look. It's got that second system coming in, a little bit more delayed than the GFS. It has it more like Wednesday night instead of Wednesday morning. Nonetheless, it still has 2 systems. So 1, 2. And then both of them stay west. Morning European run wants to spill that back into the Gulf and have probably its 4th landfall somewhere over the Yucatan. The 3rd landfall would be over the Yucatan Peninsula, and then it would go back into Mexico there, while the second one just kind of meanders on around. Let's look at the GFS model. Same story. We're talking 1 system coming in, very strong hurricane. This is Cat 2, Cat 3, folks, on the GFS model. That's Monday, midday, peak impacts. Timing is the same. So Monday, peak impacts start to ramp up for you folks in the Windward Islands. I mean, all the islands are seeing impacts, but it's especially from St. Vincent's and the Grenadines south. And then it moves into the Caribbean. Puerto Rico, you get some real high swells, some outer bands. The Dominican Republic and Haiti takes another landfall, while the second system is gearing up for the Caribbean islands. Boy, oh boy, guys. I'm so sorry to report this. Yeah, there you go. Probably a Cat 1 hurricane right there. While the first system, Beryl, is somewhere over eastern Cuba. And this GFS model fizzles it out over Cuba, while the second one is ramping up for a strong hurricane on the GFS model, possibly a back-to-back system right here, that would go over the high mountains of Hispaniola with another impact there for the DR and Haiti. Oh, my goodness. I want to look at those rainfall totals here in a moment. Then it would send the remnants of that moisture toward Florida by Monday, July 8th. All right, let's look at rainfall, because that's going to be something that's really big with this. Sorry, this is the winds. Let's look at the winds. Right there. Barbados, I mean, we got a really consistent forecast here for St. Vincent and Barbados. I need you to be really watching this closely. You see that second swath is that second system, just a hair north. All right, so need you to be dialed in on this from St. Lucia to Martinique. All right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's some strong winds, folks. That is some very strong winds. All right, let's get to rainfall totals. This is again the winds from the European. Almost identical. Almost identical. All right, so we got consistency in the forecast is my point there. European rainfall totals. Got one system coming in with 4 to 6 inches for Barbados. Then it comes through. Let's look at the GFS. It gives us a little better look at the two systems. Here comes one system, 4 to 6 inches of rain for Barbados, St. Vincent the Grenadines, south toward Grenada. Then it goes up through Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Here comes system number 2 with an additional 4 to 6 inches of rain. You see those whites? That's 10 plus inches. Those purples are 16 to 20 inches of rain, folks. Haiti, the Dominican Republic, my word. If this GFS model verifies, you're talking 20 inches of rain. Island mudslides, almost a given. I mean, this would be extremely dangerous. This would be a rough week for you. Monday and Tuesday, and then again Saturday, where you're looking at the possibility of up to 25 inches of rain in those locations. So we need to look at the two systems. Yes, two systems are possible. First one comes through sometime Monday, Tuesday. Second system, the European model is showing here a 60 to 70% chance, and that would be Thursday, Friday. Both move through the Caribbean and both move east. Folks, I will keep you posted around the clock here. If you don't already subscribe to this channel or follow my page, please consider doing so. Like this video, comment with where you're located at, and turn on notifications. Each video I post, you'll get a notification about. My goal, as always, is to give you an early warning of severe weather, a reliable forecast you can count on, and a direct approach you won't find anywhere else. Stay safe and stay tuned, folks.